What's up, YouTube? Gang, gang, gang. Welcome back to Moon 2K channel. Today I'm with my mom.
What's up? And today, I'm mommy, by the way, my baby. Today we're gonna be watching this 60-minute show. First of all, I just want to say I hope you guys are staying safe, keeping your hands clean. I know everybody at home and they're bored out of their minds. We are too. My baby ain't been out the house since this started. Well, I took her to the store just to get out, but she had to be covered up like she was a surgical nurse or something. But anyway, so yeah. But today we're going to be watching this show on 60 Minutes about a boy getting scratched by a bat and getting infected by the bat. And the reason why I picked this show because I think that it has a lot to do with the virus, but that's another story.
So, please like this video. Please comment down below what you think about this.
And we will give you some comments too.
And yeah, we do have some grapes here.
We're eating some grapes. Yo, I bought these grapes from Safeway yesterday, and look how fat they are. Organic grapes. Ooh, them things is juicy.
And make sure you like this video. Make sure you like this video. And you know what I'm about to do?
And mama, baby.
We got some smoothie here too.
7-Eleven smoothies, hella good.
And you know what I'm about to do? Like this video.
And then we're about to start this video. Okay, go ahead.
Alright. Like this video right now.
The tropical resort of Long Island, nestled amid the pristine beauty of Queensland's Whitsundays. A paradise for tourists, and for little Lincoln Flynn, an idyllic childhood playground.
He was an image of health with this beautiful tanned body and these blonde locks and big blue eyes. He just looked amazing.
3 years ago, Lincoln's mum Michelle took over as Long Island Resort's general manager. Stepdad Colin became maintenance supervisor.
He was a mad fisherman. He would swim, he would paddle on the paddle boards, anything really outside.
He got his butt in his face.
He wasn't a
He looked
typical
fun, huh?
modern city type kid, I guess, who spends too much
Think
time
he
in front of the
only 9. Don't he
TV
look
and
like
the Xbox
9?
and the PlayStation. He was actually out there doing it, and he loved his life. He really did.
A second marriage for both, the island became home for the newly blended family. 8-year-old Lincoln, his sister Lauren, and Colin's daughter Ashley.
And on the list of potential dangers, were bats ever on that?
No,
No.
definitely not. Certainly snakes and spiders.
Marine stingers, perhaps?
Yeah, the irriganji, but a bat, never knew that there was even such a thing as lyssavirus.
Australian
Look
bat
at all of them.
lyssavirus. It's a modern name for an
Wait,
ancient
hold on.
disease.
I didn't know that it was that many bats flying around in Australia like that. Like, did you know that?
So,
Did they ever teach
In
you that in
school?
school?
we do history on, what's it called again?
Bats and
Yeah, bats and animals, but in bats, they just say they have a lot of diseases, so watch out if you get scratched.
they said that about the bite?
Yeah,
Oh,
or if
wow.
you get a bite or anything, watch out, because they will make you sick and you will kind of die or croak.
I seen on this commercial, this lady was like, bats are not our enemies and all this stuff. Like, really? If it's getting people sick to where they're dying, that's our enemies. Like, I didn't know it was that many bats. I didn't even know they really existed to that amount in Australia. Like, they should be extinct, really.
Yeah, because that's not, a kid. Did you hear this? A kid. What did you just say about the lady?
I don't even know, but I thought I said somebody said he got scratched, but we're going to watch it, though.
Alright, let's just go right on to the video. This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Because make no mistake, the deadly virus that lurks in our native bat population is Australia's rabies.
But they cute.
It's spread the same way, through a bite or scratch. Its victims
Okay,
They call them regular bats, and then they call them fox bats. They do kind of look like a fox in the face.
Yeah, the color in the face. Okay, so guys, I want to tell you something. So we was talking about bats in our classroom, right, Mom?
Right. My fan dropped me. Go ahead.
We was talking about bats in the classroom, and then they said you should not be really afraid of bats all like that because they help us. But they actually help us, guys.
I didn't know that, but all
Comment
I
down
know,
below if you really think they help us because they eat what's it called again? The insects. They eat
oh yeah,
real
they help
strong.
us, but they eat the insects. But they carry a lot of viruses.
And guess what?
They're starting to attack people, but then people eat those bats too.
But they actually plant. They actually plant flower for us. So
What? We're gonna do some more research on it, but
the
go ahead.
poop, the seed in their poop makes flowers come up.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, but they're not that bad. They're just starting to attack people now.
Out
Like
the blue.
they never used to do that back then.
Yeah,
So-
it's like you're starting to hear more and more like attacks with bats. I'm thinking, but I know this time, I don't know if that little boy was messing with that bat, but we'll see.
Turned violent and froth at the mouth. And when the lyssavirus struck Lincoln Flynn on Australia Day this year, he displayed another classic rabies symptom.
You know, and he said to me Friday night he had a temperature, and when I gave him some water and Panadol, he thought I was trying to burn him and scald his throat.
What did he say?
Well, Mum, you're burning my throat. I can't have this. He spat it straight back out. I said, don't be silly. It's cold water and Panadol. And he said, I can't take it. And that's when I knew that's not normal.
Overnight, Lincoln developed seizures. He was admitted to hospital the next morning, but doctors were baffled. A barrage of tests failed to find any answers.
We got a lot of, that's a strange one, that doesn't fit in that box, or this isn't typical. And the only first test, I guess, that showed that there's something seriously wrong was the x-ray that showed a whole lot of balloons all throughout, from Lincoln's groin to the top of his neck, literally all throughout his whole chest, which...
What do you mean by balloons?
Internal air bubbles.
Bubbles.
Almost.
I gotta
Bubbles
pause
inside,
this
like
real
rice
quick.
bubbles. That's the way to describe it.
So, y'all, okay, so they're saying that the coronavirus now that's going on come from bats, but scientific think they're not sure. I'm thinking that they think they're not really sure that the coronavirus, hurry up baby, that the coronavirus come from bats. But I don't know if you just heard the couple and what they said. They said that they found on the x-ray that it was like little rice bubbles, like balloons, like bubbles. So if it went to the top of his head, which means that it attacked his respiratory system and all of that, just like the coronavirus doing right now is attacking people's lungs. He said when they did the x-ray on the little boy, they found like little rice bubbles. Little bubbles went all the way up to his neck. So which means it seems like the coronavirus, but it's rabies. It's a virus. So.
I think this virus is
So you
rabies.
could touch Lincoln's skin
And you could
and
feel them.
and they would crackle.
You can
Each
feel it came
new
up to his
symptom
skin.
was more bizarre than the last. Then came the moment that convinced Michelle something terrible was taking control of her little boy.
His spasms were worsening, and he was having a few hallucinations to the morphine. And he just wanted to go home. You know, he was scared.
He was scared. You could see that.
I can imagine what she did.
He just really wanted out at that point. And that's when he knelt up on the bed and ripped out the IV lines. And, obviously nurses and doctors come running.
Lines out his
And he literally threw them off like they were teeny weeny people.
I was an 8-year-old.
An 8-year-old.
Little boy doing
And
that.
it was horrific. And I just looked at it and thought, what is going on? How on earth are you doing this?
Commercials, y'all. They always with these commercials. All right, let's finish it. Clado. Come on. A
It
Play-Doh.
wasn't Lincoln, it was the
Look, they're
Lyssa
showing you,
virus.
look.
The
Illicit
virus
that's
can
what
lay
it's called.
dormant in the body for years
Look.
before becoming active. Once it does, it's unstoppable. It creeps from nerve cell to nerve cell toward the brain. There it begins to replicate, causing irreparable damage and driving its host to seek out and attack new victims. It then makes its way to the saliva glands to await transfer into the next host.
The strength
we're
that
gonna
came
have.
through with this virus, and he had a lot of mouth secretions at that time
that
because the
weird?
virus was trying to escape and impart itself to as many people. And now you know it. It's just like it all looks back, and it was horrific. So this is 3 hours after the back coffin.
Lincoln's seizures became so violent, doctors placed him in an induced coma.
He was heavily sedated to a level that the doctors had never seen before.
But the virus fought back against each new drug, trying to regain control of its host.
Every 15 minutes, he would literally what they call break through that incredibly heavy sedation, and he would start to have a far more aggressive, if you like, convulsion.
In this video Michelle shot for the doctors, Lincoln's face shows signs of the internal struggle.
And you can actually see during some of the convulsions at various times, he has tears coming out of his eyes. He was clearly in a huge amount of pain.
It's a terrifying disease to witness, to see this lovely boy who would go in between periods of actually being very cooperative and pleasant to all of a sudden being unbelievably distressed. It's quite awful to watch.
Ultimately, it's Australia's rabies.
That would be right, yes. So when Lincoln was first admitted and had a scan of his brain, the scan actually looked remarkably normal.
Dr. Joshua Francis, a tropical diseases specialist and Australia's foremost authority on Lyssa virus, was brought in to lead the hunt for a diagnosis. It had now been more than a week, and every test, including for the bat virus, had come back negative.
The testing didn't really reveal an answer. The initial scans of his brain were very normal, which we know can happen in rabies. A spinal
So,
fluid that was
I had to pause it real quick because I know I said that it seemed like it's kind of similar to the coronavirus. In certain ways it is. When they was talking about it coming through the saliva part, like if somebody cough or any kind of droplets, like somebody can catch it. But this type of disease just look, they call it, I forgot what they said it was, but this one looked like it's traveled up to the brain. And
Coronavirus.
like the coronavirus, it attacks the lungs more. This one looked like it's going up to the brain, but all the tests that they ran. So I'm thinking it's all that: the brain, the lungs, the whole.
But I was thinking, so
What you think, Buka?
I understand why they tell us to wear like the mask is because it goes up to your nose, mouth,
And
eyes.
with the and
And in your
so
lungs.
if somebody spit or if they cough,
Yeah.
if they saliva get on you, and or if they cough, you can catch the coronavirus.
But in my class, we studied for the last day before we never
why you
saw
didn't tell me,
in
Duka?
class was
Why you didn't tell me you studied on the last day?
I did it.
You just said you studied on the last day. What did you study?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
At the after school program,
Right.
we studied about the masks and stuff, and then
The mask?
yeah, and then they told us coronavirus, if it hits your lungs, well,
Like,
You're
our
gone.
hair is kind of tall right now. Don't trip. Let's press play.
you're gone.
tested earlier on in
Gone.
the piece looked completely normal and didn't show any evidence of the Lyssa virus.
They were asking us a whole range of questions, stinger, spider,
They observed his body very closely with a magnifying glass, looking for any possible puncture wounds.
absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
Michelle and Colin were aware of a large flying fox colony on Long Island, but as
That's
far
a
as
fox.
they knew,
That's the
Lincoln
fox
had
bat.
never encountered a bat.
Ashley.
It was his sister Lauren who was able to tell doctors about a scratch he'd shown her 2 months before.
He just basically said this bat came and flew down and scratched me. That's his words. That's just simple and plain, and that's how he described it. No.
It didn't look like anything that you needed to worry about.
No. And I thought he was going to tell Mum, but obviously not.
I certainly didn't notice it, and unfortunately, he never said anything to us.
He said nothing.
Nothing.
He was a pretty tough little boy. You wouldn't have really worried too much about that. He just didn't know. And that's he just wouldn't have known to tell.
So this is the part of the story that
Sorry.
it's okay, babe, that pisses me off. Okay, y'all, my hair is toe up, and and this is like, anyway, let me stick on it. And this is what pisses me off. Duca keep getting up because she can't sit still.
I can't sit
Anyway,
still.
through a movie, a show, she has to be moving around or playing with stuff.
I have to
She
play.
done brought her Legos up over here.
I'm sorry, man.
Okay, so what was this is the part that pissed me off because I did some research on bats and bites. If he would have got if they would have figured out, or if he would have told his mom, or even the sister would have told his mom about the scratch 2 months earlier, he wouldn't have died. Check this out. This is the part that pisses me off. And another thing, I got some advice to all the parents. And I'm not even trying to sound like, mean or anything. But parents take care of, the ones that take care of the kids, our kids, we take care of our kids the best way we can. Scratch, fall, cut, we're going to know what's on our child, especially if we bath them at that age. The boy's only 8, so I'm pretty sure the parents are still bathing him. But I guess she said she didn't notice it, but the sister didn't say nothing. I just don't, girl. I'm pissed off.
Okay, come back to me.
If Lincoln had told his parents, he might be alive today. A rabies vaccine administered at any time during the 2-month incubation period would have stopped the Lissa virus in its tracks.
So this is 2:30 on Thursday.
But once symptoms appear, it's
That's
too
a vegan
late.
too.
Doctors knew if the second round of tests found Lissa virus,
Going all
it
in
meant
his
a
nose,
death
down to his
sentence
stomach.
for Lincoln.
The spasms are coming to an end, thank God.
To be honest, at that moment, with a focus on looking for Lissa virus, suspecting that was what we were going to find, hoping that we wouldn't.
And when you realised it was?
When we realised it was devastating. And having to have that conversation with the family, knowing that the outcome was likely to be fatal, was difficult.
Then all of a sudden we see all these doctors that we didn't know.
Did that worry you? Did you think this is not...
Yeah, we did, because they couldn't really look at us at first.
Yeah, so they took us into this room and told us that the results had come back for positive to Lissa virus.
And did you know what that meant?
Not really. I said, okay, great, so now we can treat it. And then, there's sort of like silence in the room, and they said, no, this is fatal.
At one point, the doctors briefly brought Lincoln out of his coma, so Michelle and Colin had the chance to speak to him. It was to be the last time they'd hear his voice.
He first said that he was sorry. They were his first words.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Then he said, I love you, Dad. I love your Mum.
Yep. And he wasn't doing it.
He wasn't.
I'm not doing
This
it.
is the convulsions. Because we said, you got to stop. He goes, I'm not doing it. And
He can't control it.
In those moments, Lincoln confirmed he'd been scratched by a bat on Long Island. And he told his parents he knew he was dying.
He said, I'm dying. I told him, don't be stupid. I said, don't be stupid. We got the best doctors we got around the world looking at you. You're not dying. That's just not an option.
But do you think he understood he was going to die?
I don't know.
He knew, though, that something was terribly wrong.
He did. Yeah.
When did you realise that you had to surrender?
It was probably the Wednesday after the EEG because he came back isotonic.
Which is...
No brain activity at all.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just kept telling myself that it was the steroids, but it was the virus.
Lincoln's 28-day fight for life ended on Friday, February the 22nd. He became the third person in history to be killed by Australia's rabies.
All 3 deaths from the Lissa virus have occurred here in tropical Queensland. But the truth is, bats infected with this virus have been found in just about every state in Australia. And most nights, thousands of bats fill our skies above towns and cities and live in huge colonies beside us. It stands to reason that any one of those could be carrying the virus.
All right, you guys, we're going to stop it right here. We only have 16 minutes left but I've seen this before, and I just wanted to share it with you guys, with my baby on her channel. This story is really sad, and what's going on today, right now, is really sad. And parents, just protect your kids as much as you can. A scratch from anything, a bite, even if you think it's a bat in your food. Matter of fact, don't even eat out no more. Cook at home from now on, and that, you know, you can save a lot of money from doing that. You want to say something, baby?
That story was really sad. I can't believe my mom cried.
Just a little bit.
So, yeah, anything you want to say more?
Well, that's it. You want to give them some advice?
Well, keep your mask on if you go out. Do not bring your kids. Because, you know, that was the first one to die from the coronavirus. So, be safe. And I have one question for you. How long was this?
What?
This, like, the bite, scratch.
He had it for over 2 months. And they said if he would have told his parents,
He would have lived.
before the bite sunk in, because it takes up to 2 months after a scratch for it to even attack you. They could have administered him a vaccine shot for that type of virus, and he wouldn't have passed. So I'm glad my daughter asked me that question, because kids, if you're watching this, any scratch, fall, any bug bite, whatever, let your parents know, let anybody know. That's an adult that takes care of you, that's around you. Let them know.
Alright, so you ready to say with me? Please. Ready? Ready to say with me?
What?
Please like and subscribe.
So, please like and subscribe to my baby Moo 2K channel.
Woohoo! I hope you guys say it with us. And I'll see you guys when I make another parody.
Bye.